one of you is at that situation कि मेरा कैसे गया. Some people, for some people it might have gone well, and for others थोड़ा मतलब it might have been a difficult time. But for me at least मेरा ऐसा था कि part of things went well, and rest of the things ऐसे थे कि for DILR I was like these sets कैसे गए थे. I was not pretty confident on them. So at that moment of time also, this was the first time I gave XAT as well, and I can tell that about 4 to 5 days मेरे को लगे to recover from that cat thing. So I would say ठीक है, you take your time, take 2 to 3 days, okay, to recover from whatever effort that you have put in so far. उसके बाद when coming to the preparation for XAT, I think GK ka, I think Devama is already stressed. For me, I got very less percentage in GK. Okay, I got about, I would say 55%. And that was with very little preparation. And then I think much of the push came from Prepzone. उन्होंने जो भी दिया था, those materials, I think those help for the GDPI prep. And for the rest of the sections, I think in terms of preparation, I'll just give you a brief कि कैसे XAT का, what is the difference, major difference. I think Sir has already put up, I think Shubham has already put up the post which specifies क्या differences है. But in general, see, whatever you have prepared so far covers quant and VARC. It's only thing that it becomes a little more difficult and a little more lengthy. That's it. And when it comes to decision making, it's an altogether different thing because you have not practiced it. It's like critical reasoning along with ethics. So these are the portions that are included in it. So this is a basic, split of the sections that come up. And in terms of my preparation, I bought this mock section from Time Ka, which was around 600, and Prepzone provided its decision-making tools. So because that is a differentiator that comes up, right, for you between CAT and XAT, that actually made a lot of difference for me because I was able to understand what are the key differences, that come up and different scenarios that come up in decision-making. So I think in terms of preparation, decision-making पे ज़्यादा focus करो. VA and QA को हर दिन you practice because that you have already practiced. Just difficult problems ज़्यादा practice करो because for me ऐसा था कि मैं geometry में थोड़ा weak था, so I was practicing those problems more, right? So this is in terms of my preparation and what is the split that goes on. And I think Devapong, now we'll go into detail, okay, for each section.
So we'll just start with the first section. So we'll talk about VARC now. So in CAT you have given, right? So in VARC there are RCs, 6 RCs, right, Subham? In CAT?
No, yeah. So it has changed, Abhi. So this year they only had a 40 minutes ka section.
Okay.
They had around 4 to 5 RCs.
Okay. So the difference in our time was CAT had 1 hour ka sections. Okay. So we had 6 RCs and then we had sentence ka jumbling and all. Jumbling was there? Yeah, jumbling was there. So these were the questions that were in our CAT. Okay. So once I have done well or I prepared well for my CAT for VARC, it sort of becomes a cakewalk. Okay. It doesn't matter to you कि तुम English में और additional क्या कर लोगे. So the only thing that you need to do is there are some questions which will be in the form of a poem. So they will give you an extract of a poem and based on that poem, you will have to answer a question. So there will be like 3 to 4 questions based on that. It's nothing difficult. I didn't even know that kind of question was gonna come. And when it came, it was very generic. So you read, you comprehend and you just read the answers. It's fairly straightforward. Okay? So ek wo hota hai. Secondly, I would say compared to CAT, VARC is a little tougher in XAT, a notch higher basically, but it is not something that you won't be able to do. So I'll just give you my percentiles. I hope you can, it will help you in gauging what I'm trying to tell you. So in my first attempt in CAT, my VA percentile was 99.52. Okay. And when I gave CAT for the second attempt, my VARC percentile was 93. So it dropped down to 93. Okay. But my XAT VA percentile was 99.52 again. So I didn't do anything special. To be very honest, I knew where my weaknesses were in my CAT first attempt. I just worked upon my weaknesses. And my weakness was quant. I had 79 percentile in my first attempt. जिसके चलते मेरे को call भी नहीं आया था. So I knew where my focus was supposed to be and I did that. So quant is something that I had to put my effort in. VA, separately, I didn't have to do anything. During my preparation, what I did was, during preparation, I didn't get in touch with Prepzone because it was new at that point of time. So I was taking a mock session from CL. So they had 30 mocks for XAT. Okay. So ये एक महीने में I wrote all those 30 mocks. Okay. So I didn't prepare anything specially. I just kept on writing mocks till my last week. Okay. And that is where my VA got covered and my DM got covered. Quant तो मैं कर ही रहा था CAT में, so that got covered later. So now Saudit will talk about DM, how to go about DM. Okay. And then we'll come to quant, how to go about quant. Hold the questions right now. Just note them down. We'll all sort them out together at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
Saudit, take over DM now.
I think he just unmuted himself. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In terms of DM, I think many people, I think for most of you, it is a new section. So what is different in this section is that it requires a lot of critical reasoning. Like it gives you different situations of real life situations and business situations. Like a particular situation, what are the ethics that I need to maintain? Okay, and what is the best option after taking it? What would be the maximum profitable option, or what is the maximum utilized option along with taking ethics into considerations? So this is in terms of, like, you have, I think, 3 to 4 rules for which you need to follow specifically for decision making. And the questions, I would say, they are not that difficult if you practice a lot. Because each model is a different of itself. Like if it comes in a managerial perspective, like what I remember in my paper was, there was something related to, a village, a farmer, and there is some irrigation that is going on. There's some, so general situations like that. But what helped me most in this is that you need to prepare using those past year papers. You're about, I think, 10 years, right? 10 year ka aapke paas repo tha, kuch aisa tha, I remember.
Yeah.
So you can use that past 10 years ka papers and first finish those decision making questions first, and then get your learnings based on each question. And uske baad, what you can do is you can give mocks that can help you at a later point of time. Okay, first you try to prepare everything that is related to decision making. Pura past year ka solve kar do. I think 10, and wo agar tum do 2 papers per day, wo bhi ho jayega, and you will be, yeah, you will be done with your preparation in the sense basic gist of getting the DM ka thing. And then you can go into mocks to get more understanding of where do you stand in terms of the DM section. And one more thing is that you cannot neglect any of the sections, because that, I think, just like CAT, it has this percentage cutoff for each of the sections. Agar tumhara, you have scored extraordinary well in 2 of the sections, but you have not done, fared well in QA or decision making, then it takes toll on your final selection, because you won't get a call from BM, and that becomes, pretty difficult. And I have seen people getting 99 plus and not getting calls because they have missed cutoffs. And in the reverse way, I have seen 96 percentile, 98, 97 percentile getting calls because they have equally split their percentiles. So that is also another thing to take into consideration. I think DM ka though, I think it, as I told you, it depends mostly on the past year papers. Kitna practice karoge, how much you put in effort, because I've seen people slack off in the because last month kyunki CAT diya unhone. So what people generally do is they'll go at a pretty relaxed pace last 1 month. But I would suggest you go at the same pace that you did for CAT. Okay, because every exam is a different approach for itself. So that is another thing that I would like to add.
So one more thing you can do is, when you are looking at the past papers now for the 10 years, when you're looking at the DM questions, in the first 2 set of papers, just do one thing. Ethically, matlab sahi kaam kya ho sakta hai? What is the right thing to do in that particular situation? Wo soch ke you keep marking the answers, read the question once, think what is the right thing in your head is, what you should do in that particular situation, tick mark that answer, and later on check whether that answer is correct or not, or whether that answer is close to the correct answer or not, because that will create a thought process in your head, and that will also help you in building that base further for the DM questions in that particular scene. So Shubham will obviously take another session on DM and how to approach DM later on.
Yeah,
So
it's tomorrow.
so in that session you will get all the, you know, critical things that how you need to think and what is the thought process need to be for that particular section.
Yeah.
So now I think we should move on to the quant section. So Saudit is the BM batch right now, okay, and I am in an HR batch. So as I mentioned earlier, my quant was pretty weak when I started my preparation for CAT and XAT. Okay, so yeah, so मेरा problem क्या है कि when I prepared for my CAT and XAT, I have problems with probability. I have problems with PNC, permutation and combination. I do not understand. Like even if you give those questions to me right now, I will ask a friend to help me out in those questions. Okay. So I knew where my strong points were. So I knew arithmetic, geometry. I can visualize stuff very easily. So these are the things that I needed to work upon. ठीक है तो मैं I made sure that my accuracy needs to be as close to 100 as possible. ठीक है so me being a noob in quant, I attempted only 13 questions in that in 2019 out of I think 34 questions, right Shubham? So I attempted only 13. ठीक है and my percentile that year with 100% accuracy was 94 percentile in quant. ठीक है so trust me on this. If the paper is hard, it's not for you only, it's for everyone. If the paper is easy, it's for everyone. So whatever happens, it's relative. Okay? So make sure you work on the things that you are strong with. Like arithmetic, if there is a single degree equation or a double degree quadratic equation, I am very confident in solving those questions. So I made sure that I do not make a mistake in those. So that was my way of going forward, given the background that I was weak in quants. Now Saudit will take over on how he prepared for quant, and probably you'll get a different idea.
Yeah.
For me, it is.
Saudit was like a perfect QA guy.
Yeah,
So
I was opposite.
I think
yeah.
most of you are currently a part of Prepzone G1 group. So he was also a part of Prepzone G1 group, and like he was again one of those guys who used to solve probably all the practice questions that we had to put up for the QA thing. So yeah, Saudit. Over to
Yeah,
you.
I'll tell you because my quant was pretty good, and in CAT also I got about 99.8. I attempted about I think 30 questions, 31 questions, 32, and I got about 30 right. I think something like that. I don't remember, but despite I'll give you the other side of the story for that. Despite my quant being very good, what I did was I practiced very less for quant. I focused entirely on DM, entirely on VARC because those were my major, problem areas. And what happened is that these questions, they are a bit lengthier, and I was not used to that. I got so used to the shortcuts that Shubham used to provide that every question that I wanted to attempt in that, मैं shortcut का ही देख रहा था, and I remember wasting certain time for that. And I would tell you to, thoda approach badlo. You can change your approach a bit, tweak it a bit. For people, I'm saying those who are strong at quant, because you don't go this way that you're fully prepared, with less preparation, just what is done for CAT, that is enough. Practice a lot in terms of quant also, because the problems are a little bit difficult and lengthy. Lengthy problems, you should get accustomed to, do it at the pace of that. I think it provides around I think CAT mein you get around 40 seconds, right? 40 seconds, 1 minute maximum milta hai, even for tough questions. And in that you get around, I would say 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. You can put for questions, for some questions.
It's over 2 minutes now.
Yeah. So in that way, this is for people who do quant well. And do not be, overconfident. Again, take this as a different, quant study. Take it, have a different approach for you. Timings and those things vary a lot for that. For people who are weak at quants, right? I think Devapam has already told you, but in terms of how to strengthen yours, I think ek hi mahina hai. You cannot strengthen a lot, I would say, in terms of quant. But what you can do is strengthen your strong areas. Like, tumko geometry dar hai, so leave the geometry. You start going with the other section, other questions, arithmetic mein, and whatever things that you're strong at, go ahead with them. And do not go with this ego as well. Ki, if you're strong at arithmetic, do not think that ye karke rahunga main, because it's not always how it works. I think Shubham ka bhi story
has already told them, matlab ki ego pe to nahi lena hai. So this year CAT people was like a disaster. So I think they already have learned not to take things on ego.
Yeah, so it's about how well you maximize that, three hours that they give you, right? 3 hours, 160 minutes here, and so तुम कितना utilize कर सकते हो, that depends. And in CAT, I know I have heard from people that it was horrible this year in terms of difficultiness and how they are going to normalize and stuff like that. But that, since it is together with everyone, there won't be such problem. तुमको बस ये करना है कि maximize, तुमको call लाना है. First thing what you have to do is you have to get that call. To get that call, equally spread your marks, ठीक है, and get that cut off. I think 95 percentile हर चीज के लिए है, and you get that 95 percentile above for each section. You get that BM call, and make sure that you are above, at least 98 percentile if you want to get into BM. That is what I would say. 98 से above तो रहना ही है. Mine was 99.17, and I would still say that मेरा like for me it was still a difficult way. 99.17 is still not that easy to get into. You have to do very well in your GDPI. Right. Otherwise, you would not get into this. It is again a different scenario for 99.9 pointers, right? That is different. So, in terms of that, I would say that quant ke liye, and for every other section, please do not take it on ego basis. जो तुमको आता है वो कर दो. First preference, give it to that, and maximize your score first. तुमको बहुत time मिलेगा. I'm saying this again. CAT say you'll feel that you have a lot of time on your hands, and you'll be able to solve. Yeah, if your concept is decent and good enough, quant तो तुम कर ही लोगे. All the 27 या 20 जो भी problems होते हैं तुम कर ही लोगे वो सब, ठीक है. And I think this is about quant. This is a quant section.
Even if you don't do, you have so much amount of time with you that the strong areas that you focused during preparation, उनको तुम एकदम class 9-10 के basis पे भी you can break down those questions and solve. You have that much amount of time with you for XAT, unlike CAT. Okay, so that is one thing I can just tell you upfront.
And in terms of GK, though, I think we can move to GK के लिए. What I would suggest is, see, like most of the people would say that GK is not important. इतना percentage आ गया तो like it's enough. It's not that important. But I'll tell you, if you get a call, you would have around 3 months, ठीक है, 3 months or 2.5 months, in which you have to prep for the GDPR.
Not even that much, 2 months max.
2 months, ठीक है, 2 months. Depends on your call. I had my call like later, बाद में आया था तो.
Max 3 months.
Yeah, max 3 months. And what happens is, you'll be bombarded with the amount of portion that you have to cover. At least for me, मेरा बहुत ही कम था GK, and I had to struggle a lot. Like some questions अभी मैं इधर बोलूँगा, शुभम will like शुभम remember certain questions. अगर मैं यहाँ बोलूँगा तुम लोग मेरे को इधर से कॉल से भगा दोगे, ठीक है? So I don't want to say some questions of that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that you prepare GK के लिए also side by side. हर दिन newspaper पढ़ो and other facts and things. They mostly ask contemporary things only, because I remember getting questions on Greta Thunberg related. मेरा questions भी वही आए थे और बाद में GDP also went along that process. So in that way I was lucky because I prepared. I think one day ahead, Shubham gave us this Greta Thunberg के ऊपर एक learning passage दिया था. So that was a bit lucky, I would say. But apart from that, you start preparing for GK from now onwards. Like हर दिन 1 hour, 30 minutes. 30 minutes also is fine. I think just for boosting yourself. वो बाद में I think it will help you a lot in terms of GDP. It will become a lot more easy. You'll understand it at a later point of time. But अभी के लिए do not ignore that. That is what I'm saying. ऐसा मत करो कि देखो मैं उसको GK में last 3 days में prep करूँगा. 3 days में prep करें, it's a lot different thing, right? GK is a very vast portion. You cannot do it that way. You do not know which question pops up.
In my opinion, GK prepare करने के लिए, you've heard the term, right? That there is a subconscious mind where you store a lot of information. You just cannot access that information all the time, right? So just do that. Keep on reading whatever you get in front of you, any article, any news, even in shorts. If you have in shorts in your phone, just go through the news. So subconsciously तुम्हारे दिमाग में वो term रह जाएगा कि yeah, you have read about it, and then you can, by looking at the options, you can guess the right option. Even that works in GK. So just keep on browsing things apart from your textbooks for VAR, CDM and QA. Okay, so that's what we are trying to tell you right now.
And I remember in terms of mocks, if you're having doubts, कितने attempt करने हैं XAT के लिए, right? Because CAT के लिए I've attempted so many about the past 6 months or 4 months, whatever you're prepared for. So for XAT, I placed most of my attention on understanding the timing. So मैंने different timings में I did my mocks. I took a mock. I think first thing I did was I took a mock. CAT के बाद I didn't start XAT preparation. 4 दिन के बाद I recovered from CAT and took a mock to understand where do I stand. I understood. मेरा like I do not know anything about DM. ठीक है, and quant is also something I struggled. मेरे को I thought कि okay, this is a test not for me. First initially I thought कि मेरे से नहीं हो रहा. Then I understood where do I stand. Then उसमें I changed my strategy completely. मैंने quant के लिए understood कि I have to dig deep, and VARC के लिए understood I have to read a lot. I have to comprehend a lot goes and lot of concentration चाहिए. And DM के लिए, as I told, you will have different tips that sir would give it to you. So then उसके बाद I took a mock around I think 1 week later, and that boosted me. I got better because I understood the timing. उसके बाद every other mock was consistent. So I would say XAT के लिए it's about timings. You understand what timings you can hit. हर question के लिए, quant के लिए difficult questions होंगे, and how do you let go of those difficult questions. That is how I think it's all about time management in XAT. At least मेरे को लगा ऐसे.
Just to add, I think time management does not only mean time per question, but then you also would have to strategize that, okay, which section do you want to attempt first? Whether do you want to start with decision making, followed by verbal, followed by quant, or some other way around. So like there are many permutations, but then you'll have to figure out ki you have to first of all give that bare minimum amount of time so that you essentially clear the cutoff of each and every section. And after that, whatever is your strength, then you can probably maximize your score. So even to basically learn that, you will have to invest good amount of time, at least 10-15 mocks, to understand ki, okay, which score has gotten maximum returns per unit time. So these things, these sort of analysis you'll have to do basis your performance, and only then you'll be able to finalize one single strategy for you.
Also, you can use your existing CAT के जो modules हैं. You have sectional tests there, right? So you have VARC का sectional test. You have QA का sectional test. So you can go and practice them. So that will help you in brushing up your concepts even further. So, if you're not able to give complete mocks at one go, just write 1 hour ka one section at one point of time, and you will brush up a lot. So that is what I also did. So you can look into that as well. Okay.
Yeah,
now
this is about the gyan that we could give.
Now we should open the floor for Q&A, I guess.
Whatever questions you have, you can fire them.
Just anything, before Q&A, yeah, one point that all the questions or maybe anything that you have for decision making, I am also having a session tomorrow at around probably the same time, 10 p.m. It is again open for everyone, where we'll be discussing about different types of questions in decision making. How do you need to prepare? How do you need to learn from whatever previous year mocks that you're going to give? And also we'll also be talking about the new course of decision making that we'll be launching. So everything about decision making you will also get to learn tomorrow. So yeah, now we can have a Q&A. Any questions that you have, we can discuss it now. You can also unmute and then start speaking.
Anything in general about XLRI as well, because some people might be having doubts, right?
Any person issues, anything, ask them as well.
Yeah, HR के बारे में बहुतों को doubt होगा शायद.
I am an HR student. Oh, by the way, so one thing that I wanted to say at the beginning of the session is that a lot of you might be thinking ki, Excel hai 99 percentile and 98 percentile ke siva you cannot get into the college. So I can tell you beforehand, get as much as you can, but there are cases where people with 92 percentile or 93 percentile have also gotten into Excel. So I would not say that be hopeless about anything right now. Your job is to keep practicing right now. Keep practicing, give the exams, the result will decide what you have to do. Okay? Get the call first. Yeah, we have the first question. Which mocks are better for XAT, like IMS, CL, time, etc.? Aditya, I only took CL. I was a working professional. Mere paas time nahi tha. I used to work for Maruti at that point of time. I used to work since I think 8 in the morning to 8 in the night. So time nahi tha. I used to give only CL. I had only CL. I gave only CL. So yeah, that's it. Time का मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा over the head लगता था because उसका quant is used to be very tough for me. I used to get 30 percentile in time का CAT के quant में, so I never used to give time. So that's about it. So Adit, if you have any more experience with IMS, IMS.
I don't think I have with IMS, but I have with time. So I use time throughout for CAT as well as XAT. So I think majorly because उसके कौन tough होते थे and
बहुत
I was excited to do those problems, those type of problems. मेरा reverse
depressing
था.
होती
But for that, I would say time is also very good. Okay, time is also pretty good. I took that 650 का package. It had 3 mocks and बाकी सब I did old repository mocks. Okay, I did them myself जो भी repository में थे last year, previous years. So in terms of mocks, anything you take CL, you take time. I think everything would be better only for that.
Whatever you have been following so far for your CAT, I think you can use anything.
Yeah.
You
Anything
can
is
use the
fine.
same platform for the mocks.
Next question is Astha, how many mocks one should target? So
I think,
Astha,
yeah,
a minimum of 14 to 15, please, as in if you want to do well, a minimum of 14 to 15. I think CL gave me an access to 30. I was able to give till 20 and rest I gave all sectional. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think it depends, Devopam, right? If they are also taking previous year papers as mocks, then it
If
does
you're
count.
taking previous year papers as mock, then it is fine.
Yeah.
So that inclusive of that, you can take till
Yeah.
say 15 minimum.
and
So
I would say you use 1 or 2 or maybe 3 papers for just general, not as a mock, to understand what type of questions are there.
Yeah.
Baki 7 papers, right? You need to take them as a mock. I would definitely suggest that because that is the, वही है ना तुम्हारा basis जिससे तुम time समझ सकते हो. Otherwise, other mocks are not a true reflection of, how you can spend your time. That is another thing. And this is about mocks. I think we have already discussed. I think Shubham also told 10 to 15 is good enough.
Yeah.
And again, that depends. Again, I'm saying that depends because people who have done well in CAT, okay, yeah, decent in CAT, उनके लिए थोड़ा कम जरूरत होगा. They have to, put more concentration on section wise सीखने के लिए. And people who feel they're, little back, like behind है, ज़्यादा mocks दो, you understand where your weaknesses are and try to improve those. And I think next question is, okay, geometry has the most weightage in QA. I think ये रमन sir को बुलाना पड़ेगा.
So I think इसमें we cannot say like that कि हर बार geometry का weightage ज़्यादा होता है, right, Shubham?
I
Like
also
in
agree
my,
that it's a myth that geometry has the maximum weightage.
yeah,
So
it's actually a myth.
definitely
So in
should
my
not spend.
time, it was not the highest.
हमारे ये I think we saw the last year का there was, and I remember me skipping them. ठीक है, I was not good at geometry, but I solved the other questions.
Okay,
So
I think yeah, it is
Yeah.
okay if you are good at the other sections, that is okay. But even for the geometry, I'll suggest Raja to at least do the bare minimum. You should know, like a cosine rule क्या होता है, sine rule क्या होता है,
Raja,
what is
basics कर लेना.
circum radius.
Basics कर लेना. Basics will help you solve a lot of questions in geometry as well. So don't get scared by geometry कि क्या होगा. That बहुत हद तक I would say lot depends on your luck as well. That if you are supposed to get fucked, then तुम कुछ नहीं कर सकते हो. cat की तरह तुम, then it will be a bamboozle for you. So you can't really control that right now. So
yeah,
just
another thing for geometry is not like other questions, right? Other questions के लिए, if those who are good at QA or understand, like go through, if you see the question, you understand क्या steps होंगे इसमें, you immediately understand quickly कि इसका क्या कर सकते हैं हम. Geometry is like you have to understand कौन सा theory लगाऊं इधर, ठीक है? What is the first step, कौन सा लगेगा, and the next step is
पहले diagram
it will definitely have 2 or 3 additional steps, ठीक है? It is not just a one-step process in geometry. So you just look at इसमें, you can gauge those 1 or 2, 3 steps immediately. Then you go to that question. Otherwise, I would at least that is what I followed. I used to skip that geometry questions. It's not that I was that bad at geometry. I was good at geometry, but difficult questions मैं कर नहीं पाता था because it was time consuming. So in terms of geometry, you do not go with that thing कि it has most weightage. You avoid geometry first, do the other questions. उसके बाद bare minimum geometry as sir said you need to know. अगर 2-3 steps में हो जाता है, cosine rule and other things, right? Other rules, symmetry rules, वो लगा के अगर if you can do it in 2-3 steps, then you should be doing it. That is definitely one thing that I would say.
Okay, next question is from Prem. Should I give
mocks or
mocks or
previous year
previous year
mock?
paper or mocks? So we
I
already
think-
discussed Prem. I hope we have answered your question. So we would suggest that you spread them out evenly. ठीक है? So make sure that you at least go through the questions for the last 10 years. अगर वो mocks की तरह नहीं भी दे रहे हो, तो at least go through the questions. कि वो पढ़ लिया तुमने as a question repository. ठीक है? But give mocks or use previous year papers as mocks at least 10 to 15 before you give your official XAT. ठीक है?
Yeah, and specifically again I'm stressing for DM because
DM.
sometimes I've seen
Repeat,
similar models being repeated. Okay.
In my
तुम्हारे
batch,
साल तो हुआ था, तुम्हारे batch
four
में
sets were
4
repeated
sets were
completely.
repeated. Exactly same.
4 sets means 16 questions. So that is like huge. ठीक है, मतलब पूरा पेपर ही तुम्हारा
Jackpot.
रिपीट हो गया. अगर तुम पढ़ के आए हो, रट के आए हो, तो तुम्हारा 100% भी आ सकता है उसमें. That is the good thing. ठीक है. Okay, so next is Aditya. For how many past years we should use last 10 or last
At
5?
least 10.
At least
10.
10.
Aditya 10. Take 10. ठीक है. Chayan, what is the safe sectional score for verbal section? XAT is the only paper I think in India which focuses more on verbal. So I would suggest, I think it was 90 percentile. Sadit, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
It was 90 percentile. So if you go to their website, na, I think abhi nahi hoga, post exams wo generally release karte hain. So they generally have a higher cutoff for VARC for HR batches and a comparatively lower for BM batches. So अगर HR का 90 है, so मेरे बैच में as far as I remember HR का 90 था, BA का कट ऑफ और BM का 85 था. So I would say you target more than 90 because you are eligible for both BM and HR. ठीक है, and you should not let go of the option of HR thinking कि यार मुझे HR नहीं करना है.
Yeah.
I will get on to that answer later.
I think you can say about, you can just, remove the conundrum around जो भी sectional scores, whatever they think, right? In terms of HR and BM, because BM, see, what happens is तुम्हारा जब भी, I think it's same for other, most of the colleges as well. तो HR, मतलब in that you have this sectional thing कि BM और HR के लिए अलग अलग, ठीक है. And then in terms of you feel that getting into HR is different from BM. The subjects are different. The curricular, मतलब जो भी होता है academic, that is different. But in terms of placements, right, you can sit for the same companies that are offered to BM. तो जो भी है तुम्हारा, MBB, the McKinsey, Bain and BCG, right? You can sit for them. And I've seen, at least इस बार तो बहुत लोगों को these people, HR people only got, I think, about 4 to 5 people of those things. So you get equal opportunities for that. It depends how much you put in additionally because you're not taught the same subjects, right? So it depends. तुमको कौन से company में जाना है बाद में. So in terms of opportunities, placements wise, I would say you take HR or BM is the same. Actually, HR के लिए you'll get additional options as well.
Debupam, you're not audible.
You're not audible.
No. ठीक है, sure. So yeah, we can take next question meanwhile. Is it necessary to learn more vocab word?
I think वो बताया मेरा verbal इतना खास नहीं है तो I think
Which basically means guys कि this guy didn't have a good vocab, still he converted XAT.
ये भी बोल सकते हो. Yeah. That is one way to critical reason ये चीज का.
अभी भी नहीं?
हाँ अभी आ रहा है.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so the example. So I'll give you my example. ठीक है, I am an HR student. I had a summer internship in sales and marketing, and I have a PPO in sales and marketing. ठीक है, so ऐसा नहीं है कि तुम HR पढ़े हो तो तुम्हारा end goal तुम HR ही बनोगे और वो रंगोली वाला myth. No. Like no. ठीक है, so you have all opportunities.
Debupam, I think you should also clarify batch का gender diversity because they have a myth कि only girls do HR.
Come on guys, come on. अरे यार ऐसे बोलोगे तो फिर कैसे काम चलेगा? Look at the CHROs. Most of the CHROs in India are from XLRI. ठीक है? So apart from few prominent ladies जिनका नाम मैं ले सकता हूँ, for example Leena Nair etc. There are a lot of men out there. Like Bajaj Auto का जो CHRO है, he's Ravi Kiran. He's a male. He's from XLRI HR. ठीक है? So it's not like that. And HR is not a rangoli वाला thing.
Debupam, we have lost you again. Maybe you can try on phone if that works. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Aditya, you can continue meanwhile.
Yeah. I think what is the next question? How easier is to get the sectional cutoffs? Okay, I think it has been stressed enough. Look, in terms of easiness, I think my degree, it depends, right? It depends on each person. Kiska kya strength hai. So if your first thing is decision making is a differentiator, okay, that is the additional thing that comes into this. focus on that, and try to at least get good in that. And the other two sections, it is pretty easy, I felt, at least for me, to get 90 plus and 95 plus. It's not that difficult if you put in the same amount of effort that you put in for CAT. If you take it lightly, then I would say that you might falter in those situations. But if you put the same amount of effort, right, that you put for CAT, it would be on the same way that you would feel it's pretty easy to get in. Your mocks will just tell that to you. Okay.
Okay, where were we now?
Rangoli.
Rangoli, please. So, remove that myth from your head, okay? And I'll give you another example. Companies, go and search if you can. There are companies called Aon, AON. I'll put those names in the chat right now. So Aon, Korn Ferry, Michael Page, these are big consulting companies which specialize in HR. Okay?
Yeah.
So they are primarily responsible for hiring the CEOs and CHROs and CFOs of other companies. So that kind of level of work that you will be able to do if you do an HR role from XLRI. Okay? So Shubham, I have lost all the chat from my phone, so
Sure.
I'm not able to see the questions.
Yeah, no problem. So I think next question was, is it necessary to learn more vocab word, which we had parked for you?
No. Definitely no. I would say no, because my vocabulary is pretty weak. I think Shubham has faced that issue while he was taking my interviews and all. So I have a very generic English. I can speak well, I can understand well, but when it comes to using tough words, like, I can't even give you an example. So it doesn't really matter. You won't need them. Just context samajh mein aana chahiye. You need to have that much amount of brain power to take it from the context and understand what the word means. That's it.
Yes. And I think same as the myth about your communication skill while you're preparing for an interview, it is not the fancy words, it is not your fluency, it is not the way in which you speak English, but it is the content of the message that you're actually delivering to the interviewer. So how much fact-based that particular sentence is, that is what really matters in the final conversion of your interview. Yeah. So with this, let's move on to the next question. It is, I fluffed by CAT, have recovered from that heartburn. Can we crack XAT only with mocks? I think, Haldar, this is already answered that people usually prepare for XAT only for 1 month, that is after CAT. And only thing people do is they focus more on the decision making, which we'll again be talking about more tomorrow. And rest is mocks and last 10 years of papers. That is it.
It's a delta increment only. It's a delta increment only. So just figure out what the delta change is and work on that. It's not.
You just understand in CAT where you went wrong, and special focus on DM to karoge hi tum along with other students. So how well you can improve on those two subjects, other subjects, matlab VA and QA, when compared to CAT in this rest 1 month through mocks is what separates you from the rest of the pack. So definitely you can crack that only with mocks as well. But mocks being tum previous years ke sare karo, I'm again repeating this. Mocks mein you should also do the previous years सारे 10 साल के पेपर.
वो तो करने ही करने, मतलब तो मॉक्स दो नहीं दो, that is still I'll say secondary, but primary thing is last 10 साल के पेपर तो होने ही चाहिए. I think तुमको XAT की वेबसाइट पे भी जाओगे ऑनलाइन, they have it from
वहां पे मिल जाएगा
2008 to 2018.
5 साल तो मिल जाएगा.
18 तक है.
3 साल है फिर. मिल जाएगा.
10 साल है, 2008 till 2018.
ओह, XAT की वेबसाइट पे 10 साल है.
Yeah.
I think मेरे टाइम पे 3 साल था, I guess.
कल परसों मैं चेक कर रहा था. So yeah, I found it. It's there.
It's a good thing.
So I think next question is 165 minutes. And
this is a very important question because this is it's a completely different pattern, right? Because you have 165 minutes where you can move around sections, right? And how do you move around in the sense? How do you certain time period is it's not a fixed time for each section, as far as I remember. So most people, like at least 20% or 30% of test takers, what they used to do, at least from my sample, मैं बता रहा हूँ, मेरे college के those people, what they did was they focus more on their strength. उनका QA अच्छा था. They spent more time solving on those 20 or 27 questions, whatever they are. वो लोग कर दिए 27. But what happened is decision making के लिए they didn't have time left, and they missed the sectional cutoffs, and that was pretty bad from their part. That is not something to be done. So what you have to understand is तुम्हारे जो extra जो I think you divided by 3, whatever, it's 55 55, right? So 55 minutes each section के लिए. So what you can do is, तुम्हारे strong section के लिए you can put maybe an extra 5 or 10 minutes by taking 5 minutes from other sections. Okay, but not more than that. Again, I'm saying not more than that because you will be on the losing side at the end, because you need equal, or not, I'd say you need the percentile cutoffs, as I told. At least 95% ला लो, at least. You know what, that is what I would say. 95 तो मैं request करूंगा ही करूंगा अगर तुमको BM में जाना है तो, right? And
decision making has slightly lesser number of questions. So इस साल they have it 26 in verbal, 21 in decision making, and 28 in quant. Decision making क्यों? Maybe they can give slightly lesser time, and that time they can invest in their strength वाला section, be it verbal or quant.
Yeah, just adjust it that way. उसी तरह से, you know, decision making का you can take lesser portion. What I'm saying is you do not spend overspend on your particular strong section. वो तो नहीं करना ही चाहिए. That is one thing I would definitely say, and then rest depends on your strength. CAT के लिए भी वही किए होंगे, जो भी तुम्हारा strong section है. I mean, you have similar time amounts, but it's about which section you take in first, right? That वहाँ पे वो strategy होता है. वही था ना?
नहीं
था.
Saudit, you're growing old.
अच्छा. आप इसी फील्ड में मैं भूल गया फिर.
Yeah, it starts with verbal and then DLR and
हाँ, CAT में ना.
हाँ. I forgot maybe. मैं इतने assignment देके मैं पगला गया हूँ अभी.
Sequentially होता है. कोई नहीं अभी तो.
So yeah, I think that G guy who has asked this question, इसका answer I have also put it in the post जो मैंने group पे डाल रखा है, that what is the preparation strategy for XAT. So this has an answer to this question. एक बार check कर लेना. I think we can move ahead. We have 22 more messages. So low in CAT, how in XAT, how common is that? I think इसका भी answer I've tried to put it कि it is common, कि
very
से कि ज़्यादा intersection नहीं होता है CAT and XAT का, and इसके सारे reasons I've tried to put it in the post. But I think
it's very common.
Yeah, if you want to know in terms of percentages, it is very common.
Simply put, very common.
And these are the people और ज़्यादा देते हैं मेहनत.
हाँ.
DI नहीं है रे.
DLR नहीं है.
DI नहीं है.
Hi Shubham sir, Veer here.
Hey Veer.
हाँ Veer.
Hi guys. So I just wanted to ask, like just like we have the round approach in for the CAT exam. So do you suggest going? I mean XAT में जो तीनों sections है उसमें हम लोग round approach लगा सकते हैं. Like the first 1 hour we choose the questions that we are more confident on across the 3 sections. You can divide the paper like that or not?
Yeah, you can, I guess.
But we
देखो, strategy is something that I would suggest you decide given on your comfortability with the way you have attended the mocks. ठीक है? Everybody has their own strategy is what I understand, and not every strategy will work well with everyone. So like तुमने जो अभी बताया मैं वो कभी नहीं करता. Like I have already done कि मेरा I had a watch. I had fixed my time in my watch. And I used to do section wise. So मैंने VA पहले किया, DM बाद में किया, QA last में किया. ठीक है? तो मेरा पूरा straight away divided था वैसे. So it basically, I would say, give your mocks. Basis on that, you will understand what is the best strategy you will get.
So, Veer, इसके अंदर मतलब one loss or maybe one con that I can see is you'll basically have to have 3 rounds then. Because what you're essentially doing is round 1 में you're just selecting easy question which may not be enough to clear your cut off. तो उसके बाद after that you'll have to again come back to sort of make sure that you are actually clearing a cut off. उसके बाद अगर time बचेगा then again you'll have to go back. तो इससे थोड़ा सा redundant effort, I think fixed cost ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. So
another thing is that your focus also changes. तुम दूसरे section पे जाके वापस आओगे ना, वो fix नहीं
रहेगा कि यार वहाँ पे मतलब sectional cut off भी शायद clear नहीं होगा. तो इसीलिए I think 2 approach मतलब 2 rounds are like more than enough. First round maybe spend at least 40 to 45 minutes each in probably each of the section, and that will ensure कि तुम्हारा cut off तो clear हो जाएगा. उसके अलावा this goes I think 135 minutes are gone. Next 30 minutes then you can break up कि ठीक है 30 minutes में से मुझे 20 मिनट quant में देने, 10 मिनट verbal में देने, और maybe other way around basis your strength area.
Yeah.
Does that help? Feel?
Yes sir. Okay.
Yeah. Next is I still haven't prepared well for quants so what should be the strategy as I didn't prepare geometry well, and how is the DI section for that? Saudit and Debupam.
DI section तो है ही नहीं, so forget about DI. चार्ट्स भूल जाओ, अभी के लिए तो जरूरत नहीं है चार्ट्स का, ठीक है।
And I think for geometry, as I already told you, you need not stress on that. Again, the same thing I repeat. You basic तो जान लो, जैसे शुभम सर ने बताया, you know the 2-3 steps का approaches, that is fine. Do not go more detail into that, because in 1 month, at least what I feel is you cannot make more, inroads into geometry. It's that kind of a subject. तुमको बहुत सारा practice चाहिए होगा for geometry. So what you do, you avoid that. Do the easy questions. बाकी, other topics in math you do to try to prepare well. That is what I would suggest by taking. That is also from mocks. You understand किस में you are doing well. And I think quant में, I think शुभम सर ही बताएंगे और अच्छे से how you can prepare.
Plus, I think, see, decision making is already a new section that is coming in, जहाँ पे everyone is probably on the same page, right? So try to gain expertise in that section so that it can basically compensate for these extra marks that you're trying to score with your quant. So already, I think you only have a 1 month left. इसमें तुमको decision making भी करना है, mocks भी देने हैं. So with this much amount of things, I'll suggest you can let go of those topics जहाँ पे you're very scared of. Only focus on basics, and then as you do maybe 10-15 marks, तो in a way तुम्हारा सब कुछ revise हो भी जाएगा. So there's nothing additional.
In a way, if you prepare well for DM, you make more headroom into the overall score than any other section.
Returns, मतलब if you talk about ROI, तो वो decision making से बहुत ज़्यादा है. It is like exponentially high.
Yeah.
And the only thing is you need to be fundamentally Democrat in your thinking. सबका विकास should be your tagline. मतलब proper Trump वाला strategy नहीं लगाना है, ठीक है?
Which doesn't happen in real life. तुमको exact opposite सोचना पड़ेगा.
Exactly opposite. कि ठीक है, सबका मतलब it has to basically benefit everyone. Multiple stakeholder approach.
Yeah, that is approach. हाँ, मैं approach बोल गया था. Stakeholders को पहले लिखो, उसके बाद यार.
DILR नहीं है प्रभात.
Okay, let's continue. I think
okay.
This is
next question. Shubham, read the next question.
Yeah, I think we are running slightly out of time. So which section should one start with according to you, and or should we strategize? This I think we have already covered, right?
Yeah, we have covered.
Yeah. Next is Gautam. I'm Jem with a 24 months work experience in a startup. How much does WorkX profile matter? Does the brand
doesn't matter. In our junior batch, as in Saudit's batch, there is a guy with 72 months of WorkX, and pressure तो हर जगह होते हैं, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but for you, I would say तुम्हारा तो exact, like it's that peak experience, right?
Is the best experience. 24 is the best time in India.
Yeah, so I think you are, मतलब तुम्हारा तो. And all these things do not matter while selection. That is another thing I'm saying. It all
in your hand, so
yeah.
About it, I'll say.
Yeah, that is also another thing. बाद में जब तुम campus आओगे, then you will look at placement. So then you can ask these questions. मेरे WorkX से क्या companies आएंगे?
अभी WorkX कुछ नहीं सोचना है. अभी बस just get the score. That's it.
I think again to XLRI.
Ratios, profile matters. We have already covered.
Yeah.
There's a picture of negative or unattempted question in XAT. How to tackle that part? So Aditya, इस साल का जो फंडा है कि after every 8 questions that you leave, I think they basically deduct 0.1 mark.
वो हर साल था.
Every year.
I don't think it really matters. इसका मतलब ये होगा कि अगर तुमने already 25 questions जो GK के वो तो सब लोग करके आओगे, right? Because
उसमें negative नहीं है, उसमें कुछ भी नहीं है. That is out.
No negative.
So then from the remaining 75, you still have 8 questions that you can leave, which leaves you 67 questions. So उसमें से भी अगर तुम 10 question भी छोड़ते हो, it just deducts 1 mark. So I don't think it really matters because you have
it doesn't matter.
Cost of 0.25 अगर गलत हो गया तो. So in short, it doesn't matter. You can skip questions.
Yeah.
Difference in QA syllabus of CAT and XAT. I think यार ये तो I don't think ज़्यादा कुछ है. बाकी syllabus available.
As I told you, it's just a difficulty level and the length of the questions. बाकी सब everything is same topics, everything is same.
Just go through the mocks, you will understand what the difference is. Just go through the mocks and the previous papers, that's it.
What should be the safe scores per section in terms of marks? Saudit, कुछ
90 plus. बोल दिया मैंने 90 plus target करो. Marks you cannot say. Depends on the batch ना. कौन paper दे रहा है, क्या दे रहा है.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it is around मतलब 7-8 plus.
So, yeah. This year it was very difficult and it was around 8 plus ऐसा था.
And if you have around 50%, which is around मतलब 45-50 तक का score अगर touch हो गया, then you have 99+ percentile.
तो हमारे बैच में was a very scoring paper, so मेरा 37 point something as far as I think remember Subham. So that also fetched me 98 percentile. So
Yeah, it
So I
depends on
think,
paper to paper. In terms of marks, you cannot understand. But in terms of percentile, तो मैं बताइए 95 plus तो लाना ही है हर section में.
बाकी
That
I
is-
think we will discuss this particular question कि मतलब cut off कितना है tomorrow. So that will answer this. After disastrous CAT, how should I strategize for that? Anubhav, I think this is already covered, right?
sleep well,
See,
forget about it, get over CAT, and then
Nothing you can
date
do about
XAT.
it. Correct. XAT में ये सारा सियप्पा नहीं होगा that you have multiple slots, same slot, so it is same for everyone. So I think it's a good opportunity to.
So that might not be a toxic relationship, so you can invest your time into it. So
Yeah, considering 25 questions per section, what is good number of attempts and relative accuracy percentile and have chances for BM already answered?
Overall attempts, so I would say around 60. You try to make it around 60. मेरे थे I think 65. That is what I remember. 75 में से attempted 60. Yeah, I remember 65. I attempted 65. Attempted 65. So try to get at least 60 attempts. That I would say. In terms of accuracy, though, I think it depends on the paper.
ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि 50 ही हो रहे तो 10 तुक्के लगा दिए. That should.
That you don't do. That is not something I'm encouraging. But 60.
The only thing that I remember is I have attempted only 13 questions in quant. That's it.
That was like a lifesaver for you, Deepam.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. What should be the ideal attempt considering after 8 questions, 1 negative marking?
I think this has been answered.
By the way, it is not. Yeah, it is 0.1, so it doesn't matter. I'm absolute novice to XAT. I gave CAT also for the first time. How should I start given the time constraint of only 1 month?
Okay, I was also novice to XAT. ठीक है, मैं भी novice था.
Delta पे work करो.
And what I did is I understood DM पे same thing. I think I would reiterate the same thing. DM पे ज़्यादा focus किया मैंने because I understood that is a differentiator. Next thing is I worked on मेरा VIRC because that was weaker for me when compared to quant. So similarly, what are the weaker areas to work on that? It's no way different. It's only the pattern that is different. Decision making is a difference maker and time constraint. And how should I start given the time constraint? I think I've already told how you can start, right? Mocks, how many number of mocks you can give, and look at the previous papers and other tips that sir is going to give you in the next day for DM, right? All these things you keep in mind, and I think that would be easier for you.
Yeah. Next is sectional cutoff, already discussed. Next, Ayush, how will you recommend me to go after VRC section different from CAT? If it's my weakest section, it's almost impossible to get 95 percentile in VRC for me.
Who is taking इस बार English classes? Apurva is taking क्या English का classes?
नहीं यार, for decision making for XAT.
No, English. VARC.
नहीं. We have Jay Panlitkar.
Okay, so just
and Ashish Chok.
एक session ले लो ना. हाँ, so Ashish is good ना. तो Ashish से एक बोलो एक session ले लेगा. So that will answer this question very easily. So frankly speaking, I didn't feel much of a difference because I frankly never.
Reading matters यहाँ पे reading speed has to be really थोड़ा सा fast. Already, I think talked about क्योंकि decision making में भी you have to read quant की भी जो questions आएंगे slightly longer.
Sub लंबे है. So every question is going to be longer. So your words per second or words per minute needs to go up.
It has to be fast. So I think the only thing you can focus upon, except whatever you have done for CAT, is your reading speed. Try to read more.
Reading and comprehending. That's it.
True. Reading and comprehending. How can we prepare for GK and what type of questions will come in GK?
बोल दिया.
This is done.
I think Parth, we have answered this, I guess. So that's okay. Tanmay, DM all questions should be attempted.
We should first clear the cutoff and then come to DM again.
Don't focus on the cutoff because you do not know what the cutoff is going to be. Okay? Read the questions. If it is answerable, answer the question. If it is not, move on.
In DM में you basically have 3-4 types of questions. थोड़े caselet होते हैं, 1-2 types question होते हैं, short question, and then you have long caselet. इन सब के बारे में we'll talk in detail tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. Once you understand the pattern and what are the tips, I do not think it's difficult, provided you put in sufficient practice. Bas.
How to go about DI in XAT?
नहीं है. DILR नहीं है. Okay, Devpam sir, can you please tell कि XAT के VRC approach और XAT के VRC में क्या strategy different है? See, Cisco Sharma, the only difference is that थोड़े poems आएंगे, थोड़ा questions will be lengthy. ठीक है? That's it. और कुछ नहीं. So it will be basically जैसा होता है ना CBSE English and ICSE English. That is that kind of difference only. और कुछ नहीं. And just to make things bring it even more perspective, ये सबके लिए टफ है, so it's not easy for people to score as well. So उतना मत लोड लेना कि it's going to be quantumly मतलब leaps and bounds different होगा, नहीं, it's not going to be like that. Okay, so I heard GK score plays role in converting
One
XLRI
question.
BM course.
Yeah, may I know the ideal? I think Srinath, your question which was sent to me personally, that has been answered. कि ideal attempts कितने होने चाहिए? Then I heard GK score plays role in converting XLRI BM course. Is it correct?
So I think इसके लिए मैं बोल सकता हूँ because you have higher percentile. मेरे को I had a 55% और I think that was pretty low at that point. लेकिन it didn't play a role in my conversion that at least from my side because I did very well in GDPI in terms of my knowledge. It depends on how you perform on your GDPI day. तुम्हारे पास जो भी knowledge है ना, दुनिया भर का knowledge तुम लेके आओगे वो 2 महीने में. If you are able to put it right, it increases your GDPI score by a lot, and this gives about 5%, and 5% is very less when compared to GDPI. So it does not play any role unless there is a tiebreaker. अगर tiebreaker हो गया हर चीज में, then this plays a role, right? This is like a differentiator. Finally, when two typically good students, try to come clash. Clash. Then that is the only way that they can decide because subjective नहीं करना है उनको. Subjective.
Yes, I think. मतलब anyways negative नहीं है, you read, इसीलिए we guys are suggesting at least 30 minutes दे दो, just start reading it, and I think that should be enough. अगर तुम्हारा 50-60% भी आ गया GK में, should be good enough.
Yeah, 60% if you get, it's done. Yeah.
Okay, so next is Ayush. Apart from preparation, some lines on why XLRI and why is international exposure, what is the international exposure for students? Why XLRI? Because top 5 in India, first of all, rank 1 for HR, and then at par with IIM A, B, C, L, ठीक है? Placement wise, doing really good, ठीक है?
Alumni base.
Alumni base is huge.
Point.
That is the
huge
biggest.
base, ठीक है? Lot of startups of alumni as well. So समझ ही गए होगे क्या है.
And in terms of package also, it's like हाँ तुम बता ही दिया.
Package छोड़ दो, package अभी secondary है. अभी मतलब like even in COVID, in this situation, even in this situation, COVID के situation में, I think our average package for summer internship is 1.2. So yeah, so don't worry about it, ठीक है? And international exposure depends on the company that you're going into and what kind of role you are going to put into there. So there are a lot of people who are already international.
Exchange program तो होते ही, you have summers. Exchange program.
Are they talking about exchange program or are they talking about job का international exposure?
I think that is the fun part. Job में तो क्या ही है, मतलब exchange is
तो एक foreign exchange तो है ना, foreign exchange है.
Yeah, foreign exchange, but अगर if you're comparing with ABC, I think ABC से नीचे है. In terms of,
foreign exchange, ABC से comparatively less students and it's tougher to get, but they have. So if you are in top 20 in HR and top 20 in BM in the batch, you can go out. ठीक है?
So if that is your major criteria, then I would say कि एक बार देख लो, because only top 20 from each HR and BM go, right?
And I think if you are looking for a good international exposure, I think A, B, C, L, FMS or Excel के सिवा, I don't think anybody has a good.
Yeah, no one. I think बाकी लोग इतना नहीं देते हैं, as far as I know. And for that, ABC is the best. मैं तो यही बोलूँगा.
Exactly. Any day.
International exchange के लिए जाना है, then there is India में.
ABC is the best. Ashima Jain, what should be the frequency of mocks? Ashima, now you are seasoned professional after giving CAT and preparing for CAT for so long. अभी कुछ अलग से पढ़ना भी नहीं है. So what I would suggest is probably 2 a week, I guess. Shubham?
I think, see, you basically have to take 10 to 15 mocks and you have 30 days. So just divide it and then you have 1 mock every alternate day.
Exactly.
Take 1 mock, analyze it the next day, work on it. To give the next mock, just do it 2 days per, 2 days per 1 mock.
So, Depubam sir, I heard HR positions are being taken by automation. May I know whether it's a myth or truth?
Srinath, if you are interested in reading about it, go and search an HBR article. Search कर लेना Google में HR automation HBR. You will get the first link. Read that link. You will understand that HR is one huge field. पता है, मतलब there are a lot of things that goes into HR. Compensation.
It's not just hiring, guys.
Exactly. It's not hiring, firing, etc.
Yeah.
So maybe the hiring firing part is getting automated, or things where people are required in a large number is getting automated, but that doesn't mean the people aspect is getting reduced. More and more people are getting recruited for HR roles now than previously.
Even
So I
then,
would
I
say,
think Devupam, in a country like India, which has so much of cheap labor, I doubt this is going to
no.
happen in the near future. It will
Automation,
at least
see,
take
Shubham,
10-20 years.
next 20-30 years also I'm not seeing a trend of automation in HR.
I think पहले तो electric vehicles आएगा, and then
हाँ,
afterwards, मतलब these things will start happening in the HR process. I don't
अभी
think
बहुत देर है अभी, मतलब
बहुत time है.
one thing I'm not comfortable with PNC, probability integration. Yes, you can skip because these are topics. No, but
I think we discussed about this already.
Basics कर लो, मतलब I think basics करने में तो shouldn't take you more than 1 or 2 days. Pick up any book or maybe pick up any online thing and just cover the basics. That's it.
Or connect with Shubham. He has a grab hold of QA more than me or Shodit. They will be able to guide you through better in quant. Okay. Now Atharva, HR, TIS या XLRI. Okay, so I would say
Interesting
XLRI.
question.
I would say XLRI because ranking wise we are ahead of TIS. Secondly, budgetary constraints से देखे तो TIS सस्ता है.
Yeah.
Number of seats TIS का कम है, XL का ज़्यादा है. ठीक है, and overall opportunities, XLRI has more opportunities than compared to TIS, but specific HR roles are comparatively same in both the locations. So I would say, given the non-HR aspect of HR that we have in XLRI, I would suggest you to go for XLRI, or I would rather rank XLRI above TIS in this aspect.
Yeah, non-HR being, you can get other, as मैंने बताया था, MBB. You can go into, anyone can go into the top companies, not only BMs.
वो चीज TIS में नहीं होगी.
जो कि TIS में this tougher. Or TIS में I don't think
TIS में I think McKinsey
doesn't even come.
Yeah,
doesn't even come.
It doesn't come. Next, should we give last year mocks with timer, or can we just get an idea and question pattern from them and move on to the newer mocks in one? See guys, I think you have 12 mocks 2008 till 2020. दो तीन को pattern समझने के लिए दे दो, and afterwards just start taking them as a mock.
Yeah, I think I've told this. Yeah.
How is XIBM?
XIMB basically. So XIMB.
Yeah.
No
or is it XLRI BM? Or is it XLRI BM? I'm not understanding. Is it XIMB or XLRI BM?
I think it is XIMB.
Yeah, it should be XIMB.
XIMB Bhubaneswar. See, I wouldn't put XIMB Bhubaneswar in. See, so I was coming with 5 years WorkX, and XIMB Bhubaneswar was not in my radar.
It is not even called XIMB now. I think it is renamed to XUB.
It's XUB. Yeah. So I wouldn't put it in my colleges I am aiming for, to be very honest. ठीक है. Last resort might be, but not something that I would be targeting.
Yeah, when you're writing like XAT के लिए, then what we are trying to say is majorly about XLRI.
Yeah, if you are desperate to get into XIM, desperate to get into an MBA this year only, then maybe you can look into it later.
So, Raja, if you have any questions on XIMB, you can also ping me offline, or maybe I think ये सारी चीजें we should do after that का scorecard is out. Once you have calls in hand. I have few friends in XIMB as well, so उनके साथ we can have a separate connect.
Okay, आप दोनों में से कोई IT consulting WorkX है क्या? मेरा नहीं है. शौदित तेरा है क्या?
Mine is software development, but it's not consulting. Mine is proper development.
See, ITC consulting, what do you want to say? Is it TCS specifically?
I think TCS.
I think he's saying कि engineers के साथ कोई भेदभाव होता है क्या?
कोई भेदभाव नहीं है. मैं भी engineer हूँ, वो भी engineer है.
वहाँ पे majority engineers ही होते हैं.
Yeah.
See, the only benefit that you will get being an engineer is probably getting a shortlist from AT करनी if you are from IITs and NITs, top NITs and top IITs. So that is the only difference I guess you will get. Apart from that, there is no bhedbhav.
Yeah, apart from that, होता नहीं है और बहुत लोग engineers
students are from engineering background only as far as I.
Yeah, at least from my section मैं बताता हूँ 60 students है. 60 students में around 10 people are from commerce. बाकी people engineer and you take 3 sections, 180 people, and you can understand, right? There is more percentage of engineering people.
Engineer is always in any college in India more.
And
like even ABC में if you go, even if you go in ABC, it is close to 80%. Excel में probably that will be a little less. It will be 75-70%. But it is always higher. तुमको कोई भेदभाव नहीं मिलेगा. कुछ नहीं होगा.
Next, हैविंग मैकेनिकल एज ए बैकग्राउंड क्या कोई दिक्कत होगी प्लेसमेंट्स में, particularly BM?
नहीं, मैं मैकेनिकल हूँ, मेरा BM रोल मैंने HR पढ़ के क्रैक करा था इन प्लेसमेंट्स.
Guys,
So,
this
no.
is much later, and placement
हाँ.
places में I have already told you it's the same as what happens in ABCL. Same package, almost similar package मिलेगा तुमको, and there is nothing that goes on like ये background से आ रहा है बंदा. Of course, there will be spikes for people who come from IIT. अब IIT दिल्ली से बॉम्बे से आ रहा है तो फिर उसका तो spike होगा ही.
तो edge हो गई. True.
Yeah, so those things that is not in your hand, and these branch-wise backgrounds, so I do not think it plays a role. ठीक है.
How's the new campus at Delhi faring?
Not answering now. अभी एग्जाम दो पहले, फिर बात करते हैं.
एग्जाम की बात करेंगे सारे क्वेश्चंस. For marketing and operations, which B school would you prefer in general?
Marketing, XLRI. XLRI is a marketing campus. Operations के लिए NITI. SP Gen
is also good.
SP Gen and NITI. SP Gen and NITI.
So they're asking this apart from ABC, right? वैसा पूछ रहे हैं ना?
हाँ, I think so. Of course, मतलब ABC और ये तो
नहीं, वैसे भी अगर even if we take them into consideration, ABC is mostly, see, C is for finance, but ABC mostly is for general management. A तो पूरा general management है, B strategy है और C finance है, ठीक है? Excel को कहा जाता है marketing campus, that is what I've heard. And operations के लिए always, operations के लिए is always NITI and SP Gen. So
अगर एकदम मतलब core specialization करना है तो.
Right.
हाँ, and you can even specialize in finance and operations as well if you come to XLRI. It's not like there is no option for that. So उसके भी professors अच्छे हैं, हम placements भी होता है, ठीक है? So next is fresher BM के लिए chances होता है बहुत ज़्यादा. Freshers मतलब FMCG companies, मतलब marketing, sales and marketing role, मतलब if you are good enough in interviews, तुम्हारे लिए है वो. बस, no more comments on that.
I think he's talking more about XAT. I think XAT के लिए he's asking.
XAT के लिए fresher यार, we have a lot of freshers. I think 20% of our batch is fresher. तुम्हारे बैच का देखा था, मुझे याद नहीं है मुझे क्या है portfolio.
Our batch has higher people as far as I know. But see, there is no such criteria कि they, of course they have certain criteria कि at least इतने percentage of people we need to take for WorkX and things like that. But apart from that, it doesn't really make difference. If you do well, you are taken in.
Yeah.
I'll reiterate that.
Yeah.
Freshers, WorkX, nothing plays a role.
Percentile is the only thing that matters, and that is in your hand. So अभी इन सब पे focus हटाओ. Only focus on percentile.
How you compare FMS?
Next is how do you compare FMS and XLRI as opportunity cost and ROI? I think still.
See, ROI wise तो FMS किसी के आसपास नहीं भटकता है, ठीक है? So let's not get into that.
Your entire MBA in 30,000-40,000 and nothing else.
Exactly. Even opportunity cost wise भी मैं कहूँ तो FMS is way ahead, ठीक है? But given the fact that XLRI is at par with all the top schools, it's not a bad place to start, ठीक है? Packages similar हैं दोनों XLRI और FMS के. Just the input cost is what is there. There is a difference, ठीक है? So I would say.
Yeah, if budget is not your thing, then you can.
अब बजट का लोन मिल जाता है यार, अब क्या बजट का सोचना. एमबीए में इफ यू आर थिंकिंग ऑफ बजटिंग देन
मतलब एनीवेज
सी लोन
3-4 साल में लोन उतर ही जाता है. सो
उतर जाता है. 3-4 साल नहीं भी, अगर तुमको 8 साल भी लेना है, यू टेक इट कंफर्टेबली, क्या फर्क पड़ता है. सो वो सब फाइनेंस बाद में सोचना. फाइनेंस डोंट इवन वरी अबाउट इट, जस्ट गेट इनटू द कॉलेज, देन विल थिंक अबाउट इट, ठीक है? Is it true that people with IT background generally get placed again in IT field or no, completely wrong. Who said that?
They can change it, Raja.
Easily. See, until unless you have like 7 years in IT and you show yourself as an IT subject matter expert, you are safe.
True.
ठीक है? हाँ, 2 years is कुछ नहीं है. तुम chill मारो.
So,
ठीक है राजा, just have fun.
I also have 2 years. मैं बता रहा हूँ ना. I'm a software developer and I worked for 2.5 years. और मेरे को RPG में Genman के लिए आया. That is what I'm saying. It is different. You can easily change the amount of shortlist that I got, right, for the other roles.
बहुत calls आते हैं, 5-10 calls आते हैं.
Yeah. See, I'll give examples for people with high WorkX as well. So I have 5 years of WorkX before getting into Excel. मेरा 5 साल auto experience है, automotive industry का, ठीक है? So when I got into Excel, मेरा पहला summers का shortlist was an Accenture strategy, ठीक है? And then वो convert नहीं हुआ. My second shortlist was for Coca-Cola HR, and before its interview happened, I got selected in Bajaj Auto for sales and marketing. So ऐसा नहीं है कि देखो, so I have diversified things. I had consult shortlist, I had HR shortlist. I even had a Bajaj Auto ka subject matter expert shortlist. So it doesn't matter what your background is, and I have 5 years of work, so doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah, if
ठीक
you
है?
have spikes, right, in your career,
हाँ.
right, overall, if
If
you're
you have
doing
spikes, you
well,
can play them to your strength. That's it.
kahin bhi kar sakta. I got Bain shortlist. I'm just saying, you can get
See?
anything if you have spikes on your profile. So it's not about that. Okay. And next,
Yeah, I think that is it. This covers all the question. So guys, any more questions or anything particularly with your XAT thing that you have? If
you
not,
can just, unmute your mic if you still have something that is not,
answered. So
yeah,
far you
answered.
can. I think someone is trying to raise their hand. I'm not sure. Purushottam, do you want to ask something? Then you can unmute. I'll focus on, yeah. So guys, Escape Beyond, I think we are also starting with free practice events on the same Facebook group, which will cover quant and verbal. And for the decision making, we have a session tomorrow. So we'll try to cover everything that you may have with respect to decision making tomorrow. That's it, guys. I think, yeah, thank you so much, Devopam and Saudit, for coming all the way from your campus life for this session. And yeah, guys, thanks. Thank you so much.
Ankit, Saudit sir, I want to connect with you.
Yeah, you can ping.
Yeah, you can
ping
reach
sir.
out to
I
us.
think sir will provide you my number.
Sure.
Or
I'll connect you guys.
Facebook में reach out कर लेंगे. They can drop us a
Yeah.
text in Facebook as well, so it's not an issue. ठीक है?
I am not active on Facebook, तो इसलिए.
कोई नहीं. So if you want to reach out to me, just drop a text on Facebook. I'll revert back to them. ठीक है?
Sure.
Chalo, all the best, guys. Prepare well. Start focusing on mocks from now on.
True.
And
We have much
once you
time.
get the score, we will connect again on how to prepare.
And
for
in
all
one
the
way I would say you guys like a bit ahead because you also know ki what are the things that I can get at XLRI as well. We have hopefully cleared most of your doubts. You have clarity ki kyun XAT dena hai, right? You are not in that confusion ki XAT dena hai ki nahi mujhe kya karna hai, how seriously I have to take this exam. So I think
So अभी के लिए I think GDPI पे भी नहीं सोचो.
नहीं GDPI भी मत सोचो. Just focus wholeheartedly and don't, मतलब वो एक second के लिए भी छोड़ना नहीं है. Grab onto it as hard as you can and keep on going forward. And once you get the results, we will connect again with an informal session, and whatever you need to know about XLRI at that point of time, we'll tell you.
Yeah.
CAT clear करना है. मेरा CAT में 96 percentile था. The colleges that I converted in CAT were IIM Ranchi and below. ठीक है? And the other was XAT. So XLRI. So होता है, कुछ नहीं होगा. CAT ने नहीं लिया, CAT का रिजल्ट आने दो, उसके बाद रोना. अभी भूल जाओ CAT के बारे में, ब्लॉक कर दो.
उसके बाद रोने का टाइम मिलेगा नहीं. You have XAT and then your GDPI session starts. And GDPI तो काफी ग्रूमिंग होता ही है. Saudit and Devopam can tell you कि वो कितना एक्सटेंसिव होगा. इतना लाइट तो नहीं होगा जितना तुमको लगा है.
एकदम नहीं.
It's like another process altogether. It's another
I would
process.
say IIM Capca is lighter than any other college. Apart from that, every other college which are good and decent, they are very grilling. So
मेरा last year मेरे को I would have gone to IMC अगर मेरा 120 नहीं होता.
Oh हाँ, एक और चीज. So XLRI doesn't have quota in any way. So don't worry about it कि अगर quota में कट गया या
Yeah,
कुछ
people are from BITS, right? I'm from BITS. तो जैसे BTech में BITS में नहीं होता है. Similarly, in XLRI, you do not have reservations.
So
that's a nice thing.
that is also one point. Chalo, okay. Thank you, Shubham, for calling us for this session.
Sure, yeah.
It was a very good session. Let us know if we can be of many more help for you. है ना?
Sure.
So
I'll catch you guys for the GDPR thing.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah.
Good night, guys. Good night.
Bye, guys. Good night.